Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it may be in whatever time zone you are. My name is Catherine, and I am again doing a video on behalf of Ricky. He doesn't know I'm doing this one, so this one's going to be a surprise for him. But what I want to talk to you about today is how to join D&D Dungeons and Dragons and how to specifically create your first character. Because from a DM's perspective, which is of course what Ricky is, it can be hard for him to convey some things because he's been a DM for so long. He is the default DM for our group. We have a couple people who try every once in a while for a little bit and that works out just fine, but for almost everything, Ricky's the DM. So he hasn't actually been a player in a very long time. And as someone who's only been a player myself, I wanted to give you some feedback and some suggestions on how to create your first D&D character. Now, before you even create a character, the first thing you have to know that this is a commitment. It's not something where it's like a game of Uno where you simply pick up a deck of cards and you just go with it, you learn the rules in 5 minutes. No, this is something that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of hours, travel time as well, snacks, energy drinks, all of that jazz for this to work for you. And you get out of it as much as you put in. Now, having a good DM helps. So you want to make sure that you have a DM who's willing to work with you as a first-time player. Or even if you haven't had a lot of experience, but you have a little bit, someone who's willing to work with you and is flexible and is going to be able to provide you with direction when you don't fully understand something. It's also really important to communicate with your DM about any concerns that you have throughout the game. So you have to have a DM that you can trust, someone that you're familiar with, or just someone who has an open personality that's very welcoming. Um, Another thing, a lot of D&D groups do what they call as home brew. So they take the rules, they take the concepts and they twist them to their particular interests. So for example, Ricky is planning on creating a new D&D campaign where all of the characters are in a single clutch of dragons. That's not something that is usually done. He has his own set of rules for the dragons, what their colors mean in terms of their personality, all of this other stuff. So that's something that's important to communicate and to get information about from your DM prior, because that's some things that you're going to want to know. What edition they're using, are they using third, are they using fifth? That sort of thing as well. It's also really important that you either get or borrow the player's handbook and you actually read it. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is for me when I see Ricky get frustrated because his players don't know anything. Now, I have to say that was me, but considering that I kind of live with him, I can just poke his brain whenever I want to and get the answers that I need. But this is going to have a lot of great information about the classes, about the races, so that you can get a feel of what you would be comfortable with. As far as character creation goes, you must plan to do this prior to game day. It will not work if you've never done this before. It's going to take at least an hour for you to go through with your DM to figure out what's going to work for you. If it's your first time doing some sort of role playing, you're going to want to pick something that you're comfortable until you get the hang of it. For me, for example, I have only played female characters because I've been doing this for about a year and a half. I do not feel comfortable in my RPing abilities yet to actually be able to play a male or non-gendered character because it's just not something that I'm comfortable with, and I recognize my limits as a player and I don't go and overly challenge myself to the point where I struggle. So you're going to want to start with something that you're comfortable with. So it's also important to keep in mind that the views of individuals can always change, so your character can also change as time progresses. So as you get more comfortable with the game, with the way that it works, with your character specifically, you can actually go and talk to your DDM, say, hey, I want to change something about my character. Can we have some sort of situation that would challenge my character's views and beliefs so that I can then change my character a little bit to better challenge myself? And if you have a good DM, they'd be more than willing to work with you within their time frame and within their restrictions. They are running their own world, their own game, so it's important that you don't press something that's going to be impossible or implausible in their world. If it's not your first time RPing, you can go for something that's a little more challenging. You don't want to overly challenge yourself, especially if it's your first time. You're going to be having to figure out how to read your character sheet, how to do this, how to do that, how the battles work, things like that. And trying to do that on top of a complex character that you don't know how to role play well for is going to be a challenge. So, I guess the moral of the story is to find a good DM, be prepared, be willing to make the commitment, and pick something that you're comfortable with. As from a player's perspective, at least, that is the best advice that I can give you. Hopefully, I'll be able to do some more videos later on about more specific details. I just wanted this one to be short, sweet, and to the point. And my puppies are starting to get a little rowdy, so I'm going to end this one here. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to subscribe, comment, like, whatever you can do on Twitch. And thank you for watching.